should set up my...
20, Jared races some guy called Roman. The same girl who set off Maddox, the slut, and Liam came to stand in front of the cars, shaking her ass as she walked in front of their headlights. Ready, little miss, look at me, called. You know, other women don't have to be the enemy, yeah? There are 3 modes of women according to this book. Whores, nuns, and housewives. None other modes exist. As much as I hate to admit it, I was worried. Roman would...
I might color this later, I don't know.
To admit it, I was worried.
Shit.
Roman would do something shady and hurt Jared. That doesn't have to be 2 separate sentences, 2 short sentences. You could just think of it be a long, good sentence. Just saying. Even after everything, I didn't want to see him hurt. Weak. Anyway, they tie.
Wait, no,
Roman
right
and
here.
Jared, so they start arguing. Roman pointed his finger in Jared's face as he spoke. I'll tell you what, princess. Come back after you've thrown some balls and taken off your training wheels. Then you'll be man enough to race me. Cars don't have training wheels. Also, who speaks like this is literally a Jack Joseph sketch. The trampy brunette from Jared's party, Piper, walked up. Okay. Piper then snogged Jared for 0 reason, so I guess we hate her. Whatever. He kissed me like that only 2 days ago. Fuck him. I peered over at Casey, whose eyebrows were raised in surprise. Are you okay? I asked. Did I really care? Probably not. But at least it took my mind off of the ache in my chest. Me. Fan-fucking-tastic, she snarled. Liam just saw that. Awesome. I almost laughed, realising that the only thing she was pissed about was Liam's reaction. If Liam didn't think Jared was serious about KC, then he wouldn't feel threatened. This is all terribly juvenile. I know they're 18, but it's still juvenile. The race master, which... that sounds bad out of context, says it's a tie, but they can rematch, but only if their girlfriends drive their cars to prove who has the better car, because women can't drive or something. Why not take it to a little scare electric set instead? Chapter 21. I was sure the laughter at the loop could be heard all the way to the Benson house. Some people cheered at the race master's innovative solution, whilst others bitched about their bets, but everyone seemed to agree that a race by 2 dim-witted teenage girls in hype-fun machines would be hilarious. You thought I was being facetious about the misogyny in this. They declined at first, but then Jared asked Kate to drive his car. A hand hooked me at the crook of my elbow and gently pulled me to a stop. I looked up to see Jared struggling to meet my
Damn,
eyes.
he has a
When I
wide-ass
talked to you,
mouth.
his voice was hushed and his demeanour gentle. It'd been so long, I'd forgotten how human he could be. Though, it wasn't enough for me to forget how terrible he'd been either. No, I spat out the same flat response he'd given me 2 weeks ago when I'd asked him to turn down his music. He took a breath. You know how hard this is for me. He looked away in the back again. I need you, he sighed, sounding defeated. It's just a boring teenage car race. How melodramatic could you be? Then again, this is how the Fast and Furious franchise started out, and they ended up in space.
Franchise
I
ends?
showed Jared that
Cool.
I was worth something.
Ends.
And it was that thought that
Let's
made
be
me
real
want to
here.
walk away. I didn't have to prove anything to him.
They're gonna
I knew my
milk
worth,
that bitch
and I
for
didn't
all
need
it's
his
worth.
approval. Perhaps, I conceded. But I do have pride. He's not getting a damn thing from me. Thank you, Jared cut off Casey before she had a chance to respond. For what? I shot back. For reminding me what a disappointing, self-serving bitch you
Is this because I have
He
no
rolled up
storage
his
on my
sleeves as if
phone?
He was going to personally for us the car. Jared, you're going to lose a lot of money. And Tate, you think everyone treated you badly before? 2/3 of the people here tonight bet on Jared. When they hear that his first choice turned him down, the rest of your school year will be hell without Jared or me having to lift a finger. Now the both of you get in the goddamn car. Everyone stood there shocked.
My
Imagine the
problem
slum
with
made
these
sense
kind
to
of
me, succeeded
books-
in making me feel
My problem with these kind of books is that they're always like, you can do this because if you don't, blah blah blah. But I'm so stubborn and annoying that I'm like, do it. Like I'm like, I'll do it myself. They're like, I'll kill you if you don't help me. I'd rather kill myself than let you touch me. And it's a real problem. So when I would watch these, like when I would read these Wattpad stories, and like without fail, the main character was always like a pushover, and I was always pissed. They'd be like, you're gonna do exactly what I tell you, and they're like, don't do it. But she does it because it's what the fucking author wants them to do. They're like, someone's yelling at me. Oh, don't know what that was. just got up for no reason. Thanks, totally not Haley.
Feel immature and childish. A lot of people are counting on Jared's win. As much as I hate admitting Maddox was right, he made a valid point. They're all 17. It's literally not that deep. She forces him to say please, which he does, so she agrees to do it.
Also, these are the assholes that tortured you for years. What, they're gonna be worse? Alright, be worse. I'm not giving you any satisfaction. I don't. I would drink poison to not help my enemies. I'm crazy. I'm addicted, okay? I'm petty. If you're like, this thing could help us out really a lot, and you're like, oh, it could help you? You're the person who's been making my life miserable, the bully, people who've been bullying me. Sucks, doesn't it?
It appeared he would send us on our way instead of the slutty jailbait from before. What did that slutty jailbait
Such a shame, isn't it?
Tate notices Jared has a necklace from clay and ribbon hanging in his car, and it's a necklace that she made for her mum once and left it at her mum's grave, which Jared took so it wouldn't be stolen, and he uses it as a good luck charm. Jared tuned the iPod to Bullet for My Valentine's Waking the Demon. There's a blast from the past. The race starts. My thighs dampened with sweat grated across the seat. Is it body shaming if I ask why she's sweating so much for the first 5 seconds of the race? Sweat shaming? Sweat dripped from my brow. Like, are you okay? Wow! Okay! This is awesome. The easy way the gas propelled the car forward felt like a space shuttle, or so I assumed. I know that Tate has never been in a space shuttle. You don't need to tell me that she's assuming that's what space shuttle feels like. Next turn is coming. You need to slow down. Yap, yap, yap. Annoying. She's so annoying in this race. Anyway, Tate wins by being reckless or something, and I don't really know what it was. When I looked over at him, he was leaning against his fist with a finger across his lips. What was he trying to hide? A smile? Why was he purposefully trying to be an arsehole all the time? Literally, what is the point? Even with the reveal at the end that, oh, his dad used to abuse him, used to beat him up, not being flippant. It still makes no sense why he's just trying to hide the fact he's smiling. Before he climbed out, he looked over at me again through hooded lids. Thank you, Tate, he whispered. The hair on my neck stood up, my hand shook. He hadn't called me Tate since we were 14. Not since we were friends. Wow. I don't care. Chapter 22. Everyone is happy that Tate won. But I only won because the other girl had no idea how to drive a manual. Why did I say that? I rocked that race, whether or not the twit knew what she was doing. Why do you hate women? Clusters of people stood around the fire or sat on boulders while others circulated. Casey hadn't arrived yet, that I could see, and I assumed she drove with Jared. I stood there, feeling uneasy about my place. I guess I could thank Jared for me being more comfortable around a small group than lots of people. Because of him, I'd never been invited to these things. I shook my head slightly to clear my thoughts. I needed to stop blaming him. It was his fault that I'd been blacklisted in the past, but it wasn't his fault that I'd accepted it. This was on me now.
What do you mean you accepted it? How do you not accept someone bullying you?
Jared appears.
How do you...
Jared pulled up
asking for a friend.
Does Casey still have your jacket? I sighed, unsure about what was causing my annoyance this time. Maybe it was because every time Jared was around me, the nerves in my body became springs.
You came in at the wrong time, dude.
Whereas Ben made me feel like curling up on the couch to watch American Idol. What's so wrong with that? That's just being comfortable around someone, innit? Jared probably never watched TV. Too mundane of an activity. Not watching TV does not make you more interesting. Christian Grey is proof of that. Also, I find it ridiculous that Jared acted concerned about me being cold when earlier this week he said he didn't care whether I lived or died. He'd apologised for nothing, and I couldn't forget that. She does, though. It looked like Casey and Liam were on the road to recovery. He cheated on her non-stop for months, breaking her trust, her faith in people, and risking STDs on her. How is this a victory for anyone but the patriarchy? Ben ran his fingers down my hair and combed it behind my ear. My muscles tensed. My invisible 3 feet of personal space had been breached and I wanted to step away. Why? Why can't I just like this guy? I was frustrated with myself. He seemed decent and goal-oriented. Why wasn't he turning my insides to goo or making me daydream? Get a life. I didn't want Ben. Plain and simple. I wasn't going to be one of those silly girls in a love triangle romance novel who could choose. Not that I was in a love triangle, but I never understood how a girl can't know whether or not she wants a guy. It's so quirky and meta and not like those other YA girls. Oh, it was nothing. I was looking for Casey and I thought they came together. She gets around, huh? Ben commented more than asked. Well, you did great tonight. The school is going to be talking about it for a while. Looks like I scored the jackpot. Ben hooked an arm around me and led me around the bonfire. The jackpot? What was that supposed to mean? Now,
thanks, Sienna Gonzalez.
Where we randomly turned Ben into a villain to justify her not fancying him. Maybe this this is how bullies are made. Despite my best hints to Ben that he needed to be home soon, he was on his 4th beer, and I knew he wasn't going to be able to drive. I started to wonder how I'd be getting home. So predictable.
What happens when you connect to quantum fiber? You get internet that brings your digital world to life.
I tried to ignore the vibe of Jared's presence. I found myself unable to keep from looking for him. I'd seen him chatting with his friends, and the last time I looked, Piper had her face buried in his neck. She looked trashy in her short, tight black dress and heels. Unlike Tate, who is effortlessly hot because she's a cool girl.
Not necessarily.
I met Ben on his way back from the keg. Hey, I really need to go now. I have that race tomorrow, I reminded him. Ben's eyebrows raised in surprise. Oh, come on, it's only 11:30. The whining was a shock, and I was definitely turned off. Let's just stay for another half an hour. He tried shoving his beer at me as if getting me drunk was the answer, but he ended up swaying to the side and he had to latch onto my arm for support. I can take care of myself, Tate, Ben asserted. If you want to leave now, then you have to find another ride. If you want to leave with me, I'll be ready in a while. So Ben ditches her. Ben and his friends were about as interesting as cornflakes. The girls had no other interest besides shopping and makeup. What is wrong with liking shopping and makeup? You disgusting little pigmy. I love makeup, and I'm 100 times more interesting than anything this book could ever hope. Tate has no one to pick her up, so she decides to walk through the woods alone at night to get to the nearest car park to hitch a ride, but she runs into Nate. Who's that? Don't know. I tried to go around him, but his hand shot out to grab my waist and he pulled me to him. My muscles tightened and my hands curled into fists. Shh, Nate implored as I tried to push myself away. His breathing echoed in my ear and he reeked of alcohol. Yet somehow it's like sexy when Jared tastes of whiskey, but okay. Tate, I've wanted you for so long. You know that. How about you put me out of my misery and let me take you home? His nose was in my hair and his hand struck my ass. I stiffened. So of course Nate is basically a rapist? Of course he is. Nate shook with laughter. Kneading my ass, he whispered, oh, I know you are tricks. I know you are tricks, Tate. This is 81.3, please. My God. Stop fighting him. I could take you on the ground right now if I wanted to. His lips... Ugh. I just realised what I said. His lips crushed down on mine and the acidic taste of vomit rose in my throat. She bites and pepper sprays him and kicks him in the nuts, which, you know, good for her. Jared turns up, but she doesn't need him to rescue her, which is nice. But you know it's bad when that's a highlight of the book. Jared gives Tate his shirt. I can smell his man scent. I bet he smells of B.O. Jared beats the shit out of Nate and then argues with Tate. You're right, Jared looked to me in disgust. It's drunk. Now, unless you'd like to wake up your poor grandmother to come out to the middle of nowhere to get you after your date gets drunk and you almost get raped, which I'm sure will do wonders for your father trusting you to be alone, by the way, then you'll get in the goddamn car, Tate. I love that random victim blaming part there. Nice. Chapter 23. Tate gets in the car with Jared and they argue. My problem. He raised his eyebrows as if I'd just asked the dumbest question. You come to the bonfire with that idiot Ben Jameson, who can't stay sober enough to drive you home, and then traipse off into the woods in the dark and get groped by Dietrich. Maybe you're the one with the problem. His voice was low, but bitter and spiteful. Are you actually kidding me right now? As I glanced at the speedometer, I don't know. My eyes bulged when I noticed that Jared was driving over 80 miles per hour. Slow down, I ordered. Doesn't want heart attack, but it's okay with them both dying in a
Buggy
car crash.
from
He ignored my
One
plea
Piece.
and grabbed the steering wheel harder. I'm not sure gripping... I've only just started doing driving lessons again, but I'm pretty sure gripping the steering wheel has nothing to do with how fast the car is going. Jared basically says Nate won't retaliate at Tate now that Jared is involved. Like, okay, big man. I felt gravity pull my body towards the other side of the car and my heart thumped wildly when I saw that Jared wasn't slowing down as we rounded the soft turn. You need to slow down. Jared snorted. No, I don't think so, Tate. You wanted the full high school experience, didn't you? Football player boyfriend, casual sex, reckless behaviour. He goaded me with his sarcasm. What was he talking about? I never wanted that stuff. I just wanted to be normal. And then he switched off his headlights. You know full well, if they crashed into someone, a child would die, but Jared would live because that's how life works, apparently. God favours morons. Tate gets really scared and screams at Jared to stop it, but he just doesn't. Stop the car, I screamed, my heart pounding with dread. See, if Andy Serkis was reading this out, he would have recommitted to screaming that. Not paid enough to do that. My heart pounded with dread. He was going to kill us. Jared twisted his head to face me. You know why
Thank
you
you.
don't like this? Because you're not like them, Tate. You never were. Why do you think I kept everyone away from you? What rubbish is this now? I was breathing as fast as the car was speeding now. I was sure we were going to hit something or flip over. Huh? I was sure. Dot. Full stop. We were going to hit something or flip over. Just combine the sentences. Stop the fucking car! I bellowed with the full force of my lungs. That was clearly the full force of my lungs. Actually, that was the full force of my lungs because I crippling addiction to vaping. You're not true. I've not vaped in weeks, actually. Thank you for the applause. Calm down. Pounding my fists on my thighs before hitting him on the arm. Get back in the car. Oh, and then right, so she has to like scream at him. She's so scared, and then I can't skip ahead. And then the car, he does stop, and she gets out of the car. Get back in the car. Jared's teeth were bared as he growled. Why is he like a wolf or a lion or something?
Oh.
On all levels except physical, I'm a wolf.
You could have killed us. My throat tightened, and I noticed his furious eyes graze over my ripped shirt that had poked out of my button-down I was still wearing. Get back in the damn car. He slammed his palm
Did these
down
two
and
just
raised his
now?
eyes on fire. Why? I asked, tears freshening. Because you need to go home. He spat out like dirt. Lovely. All of that is lovely. Tate then steals his keys and starts throwing them one by one until Jared.
Why isn't this working? I'm trying to turn the brightness up. There it is on my computer.
Why do you hate me? Hate you? Jared breathed heavily and shook his head. I never hated you. Did he just
Hey, Willow,
say he
please.
didn't care if she dies? He said he spread rumours about her to the boys because he was jealous that they wanted to date her. You don't find so far. I want to know why all of this started in the first place. Why did you want to hurt me? The pranks, the blacklisting from parties. This wasn't about other guys. What was your problem with me? I accused him. His cheeks puffed out as he sighed. Because you were there. Because I couldn't hurt who I wanted to hurt. So I hurt you. Tate, I had a shitty summer with my dad that year. His voice sounded closer. When I came back, I was
Thanks.
the same kid. Not even close. I wanted to hate everybody. Both you. I still needed you in a way. I needed you to not forget me. Doesn't make any sense. Jared's voice never cracked, but I could tell there's remorse in his tone. Go to therapy, you big freak. She says, so you bullied me for no reason, and he says, I loved you the first moment I saw you, like, okay, dude, cheers, good one. When you recited your monologue this week, you drifted off on the side. I knew then that I'd really gotten to you, and instead of feeling any satisfaction, I was angry with myself. I wanted to hate you all these years. I wanted to hate someone, but I didn't want to hurt you, and I didn't really realise that until the monologue. So he was mean to her for years, just because he could be, because he felt like it, but he didn't actually want to hurt her. And this is the bloke so many people are swooning over on Goodreads. Behave. You don't want to talk anymore? I spit out, not quite believing what I heard. Well, I do. And I twisted around to launch another key in the air, but Jared's arms darted out in circles on my body, trapping me from behind. Male love interest or pro wrestler? ¿Por qué no dos?
¿Por qué no los dos?
¿Por qué no los
Let
dos?
go of me, and I stepped forward before turning to face him. You don't hate me, he asserted. If you did, you wouldn't be this upset. The next thing I knew, my feet were being swept off the ground, and I
You
was
can be
upside
mad
down.
at someone and still hate them. Like,
He is a pro wrestler. Jared had tossed me over his shoulder, and all the air left my body as his shoulder bone dug into my stomach. Put me down. The heat behind
oh,
me was like
gross.
fire coming
School?
on my skin. I
Yeah.
kicked
Don't
my
gotta
feet,
deal with that
pushed his back,
anymore.
and he simply held me tightly by the backs of my knees. As if following orders, Jared swung me back upright where I landed in a sitting position on the hood of his car. It was still warm under my thighs from when I had been driving, but the heat was not a welcoming comfort, since I was already burning with fury. Jared leaned in slowly, probably afraid I'd hit him, and placed his hands on either side of me. His legs stood between mine, and I immediately flushed with the memory of the last time we were in this position. Don't try to get away, he warned. As you remember, I can keep you here. What is all of this? What is all of this? He leaned in closer, his black-brown eyes making my body want to do things my brain knew it shouldn't. I could smell his cinnamon breath. Is this what man said it is? He then moves his mouth all over her face to tempt her into kissing him. I want to touch you. His words were against my lips now. I want to feel what's mine, what's always been mine. Oh, sweet Jesus. Those words shouldn't turn me on, but holy hell, they did. Anyway, she doesn't give in to him, even with the old cinnamon breath. Chapter 24. My eyes flutter open with a sudden chill. I'm in bed, a draft caresses my body. Are my French doors open? Why is this like when Mr. Smithers dreams of Mr. Burns flying through the window? She has a wet dream that he dry humps her into submission. I hadn't been properly kissed in months, not since the few days I'd had in France. Jared had gotten under my skin skin last night, but no matter how turned on he got me, I had to remember that he was off limits. Apologising for treating me like dirt wasn't enough. I didn't trust him, and I never would. Not about the whole story. He also had too much control over my body, and that had to change. This is such a non-story, and also he had too much control over my body. That's embarrassing for her.
We believe in a future where
Yeah, we only got a few more hours left.
has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. Where every worker has the freedom to join a union. Where every person has affordable health care, affordable child care, and paid family leave. We believe in a future where every senior can retire with dignity. Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
1 minute of what?
There's some stuff about exercise that honestly is as thrilling as you'd imagine, second only to actually doing some exercise myself, so let's skip it. She texts Casey. So, you and Liam? I queried. Part of me hoped that she and Liam were back on. I felt guilty. Only a lousy person would kiss the guy her best friend was dating. And I worried about how I would tell her. If she and Liam were back together, then maybe I wouldn't need to come clean. Don't judge, she texted back. Relief flooded me. They were back together. Never. If you're happy, I am. Just hope I can trust him. She still had doubts, and rightly so. I don't think I could take back a guy that cheated on me. But then again, I'd never been in love. I guess I wouldn't know anything until I'd experienced it. You may never know for sure, as long as he's worth it, I wrote. There is not a universe that exists throughout the multiverse in which mid-men who shag other people just because they can are worth it. Also, if you're in love with someone, then you try to not hurt that person, so I'm not sure where cheating fits in to that description. Can't even use the excuse that they've been together for decades. They're 17. I think so. So Jared's all yours. What? The thumping in my chest actually hurt. Apparently I took too long drowning in my own sweat because she texted again. No worries, Tate. He was never mine anyway. And this is after they've been doing stuff. It's like an episode of Me and Chelsea. Jared was like the 4th of July. All over my body. Patriotic and loud? Terrifying for small animals? What? She goes to school and speaks to Maddox the slut. Well, it's nice to see you too. He seemed to hold back his usual sinister self. He wasn't making innuendos while trying to grope me. Well, there's an improvement. Maddox says sorry to Tate for bullying her and asks her out to the homecoming dance, chapter 25.
Why can't I get this
Tate
arm
thinks
right?
it's Frank by Jared. Tate, Jared would probably set fire to my hair if he knew what I was here talking to you. There's someone asking you out. I'm being serious here. No pranks, no jokes. I really want to take you to the dance. She is just that beautiful that he would risk the wrath of his insane best friend. I whirled around to face him up with anger. Even if you are being serious, did you really think I'd ever trust you? You've groped me and I've broken your nose. You're asking me out. Really? This was the dumbest turn of events I'd never anticipated. And what's more, it was a waste of my time. I realised we have an interesting history, Maddox started, holding up his hands. I wanted to assure you that I'm not asking you out in a romantic way. Jared will have my balls as it is. I've been a jerk and I want to make amends. If you don't already have a date, I'd love to take you and show you that I can be a good guy. I'm tired. She then considers it just to make Jared jealous and goes to class. Casey and Liam had joined us for lunch but had disappeared for a while ago, probably underneath the bleachers near the football field to talk. She seemed happy, and Liam had been even sweeter than usual. It would be a long time before I could look at him without thinking about his betrayal, but I was glad they were together again. Why? Tatum Brandt. I jumped, instantly embarrassed that the person yelling made me the focus of the entire lunchroom. Will you please go to the homecoming dance with me? The idiot's voice asked behind me. Maddox asked her out like this because no man in fiction can ever be normal. Please, let's make this work. I'm sorry for everything. He was deliberately speaking above the laughter. So
No, I won't.
Business. I said no. But the baby needs a father, he implored. See. Anyway, this causes her to say yes so he doesn't embarrass her anymore. Chapter 26. And everyone knows that it's just a joke, so it's fine. I was going to homecoming with the one person in the school who made my skin crawl. I was getting attention from a gorgeous star football player that I couldn't care less about, and I was having wet dreams about a potential sociopath who acted like he hated me most of the time. Well, when she puts it all like that, it is quite the predicament she has found herself in. Hi, Tate. Dr. Porter was a middle-aged ex-hippie who often left his long, rust-coloured hair flowing free and drops of coffee dangling from his scraggy beard and moustache. Huh? Anyway, she does some sort of after-school revision in an empty classroom, but Jared magically appears. It's like some type of crossover with the House of Night. He leaned back in the chair with his hands behind his head and one foot propped up on the edge of the table. All teachers are punching the air and screaming right now. Jared insists he's there so they can become friends again. The idea of having Jared for a sleepover, even though he was joking, thrilled me. Damn, I'd love to let him keep me up all night doing things that we sure didn't do as kids. I wanted his hands on me, bring me close, and his mouth all over. But I wanted him to care too. I didn't trust him. Oh my god, who cares? You know, maybe too much damage has been done. I know you've apologised, but it's not so easy for me. You're not getting girly on me, are you? He sneered. Yeah, not accepting psychological abuse is girly or something. I forgot your birthday was coming up, he said almost to himself, as I took back the papers and stuffed everything in my binder. I wondered if that was true. Our birthdays were a big deal when we were friends, but in recent years he could have forgotten, I guess. I hadn't forgotten his. It was October 2nd. Yesterday. Should I say something? I hadn't done anything for Jared's birthday the past few years, but now the subject was up. I had no idea what to do. Screw it, he would have forgotten mine too. Who cares? Well, the whiplash I'm getting from the constant changes, like pick a lane. Like him or don't like him, but stop this nonsense. Does your mum know you provide alcohol to minors and sleep around on the weekends? My remark came out way snippier than I wanted to. Does my mum care would be a better question. His sarcasm was a cover for the annoyed look I saw boiling underneath. I frowned as I thought about Jared's life. He grew up without a father and an absentee mother. He had no healthy role models or love in his life that I knew of anyway. Double who cares. I'd be so much more lenient if he at least used his trauma to become funny or something, but no, he's just mean and boring. At least be mean and funny. Jared makes Kate so nervous she keeps knocking things over, which, considering they're in a science lab, is great. Hope she knocks over something radioactive and they both get poisoned. He apologises for being a bully again and then snogs her. He clutched me tighter, pulling me up to my toes. I inhaled him, smelling the wind and rain from his skin, and for a brief moment I was home. This is everything I needed, everything I wanted. There is a whole universe out there.
Take a shower after
But
this.
stupid sex and love is all the boring people care about. I've wanted you for so long, he whispered, his breath on my lips almost like a drug drawing me in. All the times I'd see you next door, it drove me crazy. My toes curled at his words. He wanted me the whole time. I liked knowing that. I liked that he desired me. Self-esteem non-existent. I loved finding out that he never hated me, that he always wanted me. What was happening between us? Were we getting together? Or was Jared just scratching an itch? Don't, I gasped out and pulled myself back. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to be anywhere else but with him, but I knew why I stopped. He can't win. He can't treat me like shit and then have me. Make your mind up. Releasing his hold and dropping me back to my feet, his expression became indifferent as he backed away. Then I won't, he said coldly. I guess I didn't expect him to argue or pursue me more. Jared wasn't a beggar, but I was thrown off balance by how quickly he could go from blazing hot to bitterly cold.
Alright, bye.
He left